Assalamu alaikum. This is Muslim Network TV and you're watching GTA Muslims Today. I'm your host Moees Rahman. Today I have the pleasure of being joined by Ali Bahman and we're talking about the upcoming elections right here in Canada. Ali, thank you so much for joining us today.
Nice, it was a pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure is ours. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Ali Bahman. I am the NDP candidate for Vaughan, Woodbridge, and I have submitted officially today my name to the ballot, and hopefully we get a confirmation by tomorrow morning.
Congratulations, that's big and exciting news.
Thank you so much.
Okay, at what point in your life do you think you got the desire to want to go into politics, and what do you think inspired that?
Yes, I have always had an interest in politics. I have a background in political science and specialized on macroeconomics, and I also did my master's degree in international relations. So I always had a desire and an interest in politics, but my actual plan to really join politics and run as a federal candidate really it was after looking at after the situations unfolding in Canada, the affordability, the cost of the housing crisis in Canada, young parents talking about how difficult it is to really raise children and all that. These issues accumulated to a sort of an urgency that I thought I need to address as a young parent, as someone who comes from working class. I thought that we need representation, particularly as a Muslim candidate.
So let's dive into that. Cost of living is a great issue, and the reports are showing more than 70% of consumers, mainly the youngsters, do not ever believe they will be able to afford a house. So what strategies do you think are going to be implemented that will effectively solve this issue at hand?
Absolutely. Over the past years under the Liberal government, the cost of living the cost of groceries has gone up by 35%. And the cost of the housing costs has gone almost double, and a lot, like you said, a lot of young people like us already giving up the dream of owning a house and starting a small family. And we, as an NDP, we want to ensure that we have policies that really control the prices and the unaffordability in Canada. And some of the strategies that we would like to address are very simple, but they require political will. And those are putting a cap on landlordship, on the corporate landlordship, making sure that we have enough supply and Canada-made home construction. And these are the strategies that could be simply implemented if we have policies that address corporate landlordship. We have caps on pricing. I feel these are the solutions for how to really control the housing crisis in GTA specifically. And also we want to remind people that in GTA now, a house is outside the salaries, even the average salaries of normal, hardworking, young professionals. Yeah. And we are almost thinking to allow the elimination of middle class from GTA is fast, and we have to address them. We have to address them by ensuring that we have measures, policies that address affordability, not only in general, but also for young professionals, young people like us, like ourselves.
Sure. They say that housing costs should be 30 or less than 30% of your annual earnings. And the recent studies are showing that it's roughly 50%, if not more, for first-time home buyers or first-time renters, and they're living check to check, right? So can you share a little bit more about maybe one example of a strategy that could genuinely impact this? Yeah. And do you think this cost of living issue and unaffordability is leading into any other aspects of potentially maybe the crime that we're seeing in the GTA right now?
Yeah, exactly. talking about the first point about how could we tackle that, given that the average income is not really enough, and we live check by check, and myself including, we live check by check. We cannot afford basic needs of a family, and we are implementing a permanent GST removal, for instance, on grocery bills. That will really bring down the cost of living in terms of that, for average earners in GTA. We're hoping that we have lowered tax bracket for professionals, young professionals, teachers, nurses, construction workers, people who are working. In comparison to this, we see the policy of the Conservatives and Liberal really implementing, capital gain cuts. That is only helping people who are making 1.4 million or above. This is not going to really solve a situation where someone who makes 1.4 million a year has to pay a lower tax rate than a teacher. And this, as you said, this really affects the day-to-day living, the day-to-day bills. And we're hoping that by measures that are addressing directly, directed at our bills, at our essential needs, tax cuts on essential needs, could really address a lot of the issues that are causing the living crisis, or the high cost of living.
Okay, that seems to be a very solid
Yes.
topic. Sorry.
Yeah. And you said and you said about how is it connected to crime, criminal, and when lack of affordability hits, people find other solutions, and unfortunately, some of them and some of these solutions for them are going to join this, criminal, car theft, burglary, and all that. We would like to make sure that we address these at the education level, and at financial level to each household, and also provide services and programs that really bring these families who are struggling with day-to-day living to the table and talk.
It seems like you have really put a solid amount of thought thinking about this and trying to come up with solutions for the average consumer, right? Yesterday, and it's very unfortunate, a report came out about a incident and crime related to the happened in Brampton. And it just seems to be like every time we open news, crime is one of the go-to subjects after affordability, if not before it. Talk to us more about crime, what we can do to prevent that from happening going forward.
Yes, and absolutely, the crime rates across Canada is at a level we have not seen before the last election, and we have seen that there is, as you said, affordability has a direct relationship with the rise in crime. Unfortunately, we have seen the crime rates drop this year, in the last year, but we are still seeing a large trend of crime across Canada. And it's not a local issue alone, unfortunately. It's not a local issue, it's a Canada-wide issue. And that means that as a federal government, we need to find the roots of these issues. If there are policies that are not, security policies that are not vibrant and dynamically sharing, and we will have crime rates. And if we have loose policies around bailing criminals and all that, we will have criminals joining in these crimes and using this as an alternative source of income. So we need to come as a nation together. We need to find the grassroots solution, and it's not just a local issue where we see someone in Brampton, being targeted, or some doors getting broken, or households being bothered. We need to know we need to look at the trends, what's causing these. And it could be safety systems in education, programs. It could be where are these criminals coming from, which areas of Canada they're coming from, and what are the sources of income, and we have to target their sources of income. We have to target, such as we have seen more and more willingness to fund police work in this area, more and more investigative work in this area. These are the solutions. Having more resource on really not only preventing avoiding crimes, but also preventing them from actually happening, and finding the sources of these issues.
I appreciate that. It's actually a lot of good insight to know what's being done behind the scenes, because it's not just surface level.
Yeah.
It probably goes multiple layers deep, right?
Exactly.
So let's switch up the conversation a little bit. Donald Trump,
Yes.
51st state, tariffs. Talk to me about that.
Yes, as you know, as of today, we have a 25% tariff on some goods and service in Canada, Canadian goods and services. We, as NDP, we are proud to announce our countermeasures from very beginning on ideas of tariff by really targeting the billionaires, because we believe the root issue against Canada is the billionaires who are profiting from tariffs on an ally. And I think we want to make sure that our policies are targeting the billionaire friends of Donald Trump, and the people who are actually the corporations who are benefiting from such tariffs. And we also want to make sure that we have all the policies, measures, the EI, framework for workers who are losing their jobs, for different industries that are going to struggle with the 25% tariff. We want to make sure that we address them by opening up broader trade between the provinces, between the jurisdictions, and easing those hurdles that exist in Canada between the provinces and different jurisdictions. I believe this is an opportunity for us. This is an opportunity for us to look around ourselves to make sure that our main trade partners are actually our Canadians across different provinces.
Thank you for sharing that. Do you support the removal of American goods on our shelves?
I believe that any good and service that is, affecting the policymakers who are really implementing these tariffs on Canada should be targeted. And I believe in a targeted approach. We don't want, just like American ordinary workers and citizens, we don't want to target them. Unfortunately, the Trump administration is targeting Canadian workers. And we want to make sure that our countermeasure is not based on reaction, but on calculated measures that really target those policymakers, those lobbyists who are really supporting these measures in the Trump administration.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
One final question before we let you go today. Do you believe in equal rights for all humans?
Exactly. We, as you know, our party has been at the root of abiding to international law, believing in international law, believing in international order. And we have consistently spoken about equal human rights, integrity across all nations, no matter whether they're allies or not. We believe in sovereignties, and we believe that the international rule under the United Nations must be abided, and anyone who really does not abide international law must be either serving proper punishments, or they have to be kicked out of international organizations if they're not really compliant to the international order, to the international law.
I appreciate that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you so much.
Ali, for anyone who wants to, our viewership, they want to follow your journey, where can they follow you?
They can join and follow me on my Instagram page. We have TikTok and Facebook pages, Ali Bahman .7 and Ali Bahman 7 on Instagram, and also on my website alibahman.ndp.ca. You can follow my journey and also reach out via email on my account on my website. I'm passionate about helping, and any ideas that your viewers would like to share with me, I'm more than happy to listen to their views and ideas, and how can I help their voices be heard.
Thank you for joining us on this conversation with Ali Bahman. Now, if you have any specific questions that you would like to have us ask him, you can share that in the comments below along with any other thoughts you have. This is Muslim Network TV. You're watching GTA Muslims Today. I'm your host, Moiz Rahman. Do not forget to follow us, like, share, and subscribe to all our content. Inshallah, we'll see you in the next video.